This is, yeah, I still, oh wait, hold on, it's still going. Okay, now we're live. So this is the Best of Investing radio show. We're live, but then we're also recording this for television because now I finally figured out how to do it.
Nice.
It took me forever, and thank you to Justin at CMCM TV.
Out of the darkness, some people can see.
Oh, you can see him. You can see him very well.
Oh, I want to be like
See
the
that?
character from what's that?
Wilson. Who's,
Yeah.
yeah.
I'll peek over there.
No, we got to see your handsome face there. Okay, are we ready?
I think so.
Let's hit it. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Welcome. You're listening to The Best of Investing. I'm your host, Edward Brown, along with my co-host, Nam Phan of Pacific Private Money and Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Our phone number is 888-912-1190. Use that number to answer the trivia questions for a 5-pack tanning certificate given away during this show. That certificate's not sponsored by the radio station, but by Tan Bella Tanning Salon with 2 locations in San Francisco and 1 in Marin. Today's trivia theme, again, is general trivia. Patty, let's get right into it. What is going on with real estate? Is it buyer's market? Is it a seller's market? Is it a buyer-seller's market?
Really good question, and that's what everyone's confused about based on their behavior, meaning that we are in a neutral market. It's a balanced market. Overall in the Bay Area, year over year, prices are down about 2% and volume is down about 2%. Properties are staying on the market slightly more days. The relationship between list price and asking price is getting a little bit lower.
Well, I was going to say, staying on market usually would mean the prices would start coming down from the listing price.
Slightly more inventory, but not a glut. But that's what happens in the buyer's market. We're in a neutral market. And I mean, a neutral market is technically defined as where the percentage of homes in contract is anywhere between 25 and 35%.
Of the available listings?
Yeah.
Okay.
So take 100 listings, which you can't find in any market,
Right.
but take 100 listings. And if 25 to 35 of them are in escrow, it's a neutral market.
Oh, neutral.
If more than 35 of them are in escrow, it's a seller's market. So in some cases, we could look at 100 listings and see like 60 of them pending or more in the last 5-6 years. In the really deep buyer's market, 08 to 12, anything under 25% in escrow, and we'd have 100 properties and 18 are pending or 12. So it's a true neutral market. But whenever it shifts from a seller's market to a buyer's, you're going to get more neutral. And prices are down 2%. Have they fallen down 10%? No.
Yeah.
Are they going to fall down 10% next year? No.
Quick question for you on that. In a buyer's market, do you get a situation where the buyer's agent tries to negotiate a higher commission split?
Not really.
Not really, because in the Silicon Valley for renting, what was happening is in the old days it used to be just a straight split between the 2 brokers.
Oh yes.
But in a glut, where basically you call it a buyer's or a tenant's market,
right?
They call them the procuring broker, the one bringing the buyer or the renter in this case, was asking for the full commission.
Really?
Oh, come on.
So instead of it being 6%, they're saying 6 to split 3 and 3.
Yeah.
And I think it's still that way. The procuring broker says no, I get the whole 6%, and then the selling one or the listing one gets their own 3%.
Yeah. Well, that
expensive.
stuff happens like in any market in commercial. It's so dicey. This one, you've got the 2 brokers, and then you've got like 4 other people involved that are getting a piece of it and referral fees and all that.
Well, when that happens,
that's
but a lot of times it's just straight one-on-one. And because I remember what was going on in 2004, it was like a ghost town. And what ended up happening was, you'd have 100 buildings available. And so, how do you attract the broker to bring his tenant to your building?
Donuts.
Exactly.
Yes, more than donuts. I had to do
You're not trying to attract the police.
No, I had to do this fantastic spread of food, and I had to give away 2 iPads. And back then, iPads were like $1,000 a piece just to get brokers to come and look at the building.
Right.
Wow.
Sheesh.
Yeah.
But guess what? I mean, it's kind of like food at brokers' open houses. I don't do it, and really good agents generally don't do it because basically, I'm not interested in agents to show up that don't have buyers, but they're so like scarce poor that they have to come and get lunch.
But don't you still kind of cast a wide net?
Yeah,
though?
why not? Yeah, yeah.
Are they bringing Tupperware?
I know, exactly.
Oh, okay.
Get food to go.
Like, I have never gone to see a property because they had or had not had food.
Yeah, but
You know?
you're an elite agent.
Yeah, that's true.
You're not a beginner looky-loo, as
Yeah.
they say.
You bring your own food.
Exactly.
So I have a question. So days on market is another indicator
Yeah,
of whether or not it's a buyer's or
Big
seller's. So
indicator.
at the height, when you're saying, let's say 60% of the inventory is in escrow at any given time, what's the days on market on average in that?
and well, it
Yeah.
includes, when we track it, it includes the contingency period, which
Mhm.
by default in the contract is 17 days, but a lot of people are doing 0 days.
Right.
So when we factor all of that in, it's probably about 7 to 10 days
Wow.
before,
7 to 10.
yeah. on average.
Mhm.
So that's taking into account that even in a seller's market, you've got overpriced.
Right.
So basically, how do we know where we are? This is when I walked in the door today, having 2 strong deals fall apart.
Mhm.
And it is because buyers are behaving like it's a buyer's market. It is not. Sellers are behaving like it is a seller's market. It is not.
And we're gonna get into that in the next segment.
Okay.
I want you to explain what that really means.
Good.
Okay. We're going to cut to the first commercial break. A quick mention here for Mountain Mike's Pizza in San Rafael. You've heard the phrase pizza the way it ought to be. Well, they put on their famous pepperoni large pizza 100 pieces of pepperoni.
Oh,
I
stop.
love
I
pepperoni.
love
The
pepperoni.
dough is shredded. Our dough and shredded cheese are made fresh daily. I like that.
Mm.
Enjoy your pizza the way it ought to be. Call 415-454-4300. That's a good phone number. That's Mountain Mike's Pizza in San Rafael. All right, first trivia question is, the point on land closest to the North Pole begins to what nation? The first 3 callers with the correct answer are going to win that Tanning certificate. Call 888-912-1190. Don't touch that dial. We're going to be right back. There we go. It's kind of a hard one, actually.
Mm.
What nation? Okay.
Yeah, one in mind.
I mean, what I thought I knew the answer?
Yeah.
I didn't know.
That's why I know I don't have the right answer. But I'm not. My self-worth is good enough, smart enough, and gosh darn it, people like me.
Let's see. All right.
So we'll continue on with what that specifically means, behaving like a buyer's market with sellers. You have a deal of the week too?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
A.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the best of investing. Again, I'm Edward Brown, your host. I had to take a big breath there. Along with Nam, Fawn, and Patty Cohen. First trivia question was, the point on land closest to the North Pole belongs to what nation?
Norway.
No?
Greenland? Russia?
Yeah, I would have thought of it in Russia, but Denmark.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that crazy? I mean,
That's crazy.
yeah.
Yeah.
I thought that was
I didn't have time to Google. I couldn't get onto
No?
your wireless network.
Yeah.
Why'd you named it? I love donuts. What did you?
That's right. You know what it is. All right. So also here, I want to make a quick mention for Sonoma Canopy Tours. I don't know if you guys have ever zip line through California coastal redwoods. But,
Wow.
check out Sonoma Canopy Tours. Your zip line adventure starts there. They are, if you're scared of heights, I challenge you to do this because it's fantastic. It's in Occidental,
Wow.
and it's beautiful country up there. Check them out at SonomaCanopyTours.com. Have fun.
Yeah, I saw them zipping over. My daughter had a school event there.
Oh,
and
yeah.
They camped out at the Redwood Alliance or
Yes,
Alliance
exactly.
of Redwoods, and you could see them zipping over, and you hear this.
Yeah.
Like looking like, wow, they're really high up.
Yeah,
It's,
exactly.
so I've done that, and it's just scary to, like, until you jump, and then it's cool. But before that jump, oh dear.
Yeah, this do they? I'm trying to think if they zip line and then you jump off of it, or because I actually haven't done this one.
I don't know.
I don't know if it's, you have to ask her.
Yeah.
Okay, let's see. So Patty, continue on. You were saying before the break about buyers are behaving like it's a buyer's market. What does that mean?
Well, some are making really low offers. It's not a buyer's market; it's a neutral market. So, but there's a lot more fear. There's a lot more transactions that are falling apart because they don't want to get stuck. But we're not there. Like for example, in Marin County, how do we know it's not a buyer's market? In Marin County, close to 50% of the transactions are still going over asking.
Really?
We're just
Must have
not.
been priced right.
Yes.
Yeah.
But we're not getting like 6 or 7 offers. We're getting maybe 2 or 3.
Okay.
Now, at the same time, we're, the other close to 50% are going under asking. And sometimes it's, 4 and 5% under asking after a couple of price reductions.
Oh,
Wow.
interesting. Okay.
So if sellers price their houses at their kitchen table and they heard like Joe down the street got this, and if you price at that same rate of velocity that it was going at, you're going to go higher.
Yeah.
Well, the market has a little surprise for you because it went down 2% year over year. Nothing big, but
Right.
down 2 is down 2, not up, 10 plus 2.
I made
Right,
that
right.
mistake selling my old house back in 2006. And it was a situation where the house up the street wasn't as nice. But the mistake that I made was the fact that we were on the corner, busy street, and they were up the way a little bit. I thought, gosh, they got an offer like in 3 days, which back then you didn't get offers that quickly.
Right.
Yeah.
And they backed up to a nursery school or something where kids make noise and stuff.
Yeah.
Anyway,
So it's out on the market for a while. Is that what happened?
I priced it too high,
Ah.
and I just dropped and dropped.
That's what happens. And then there's buyer suspicion, like what's wrong with that house?
Yeah.
Right.
What's wrong with this market?
Mhm.
Oh, this is a buyer's market. So when they start seeing that, but at the same time, there's buyer confusion because you see things go, 4% over asking.
Right.
Well, also with interest rates dropping again, I think wouldn't that tend to make buyers go, well, I'm not in a big rush.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And then like, what does it mean when we say that sellers are behaving like it's a seller's market?
Yeah.
Well, this is when it starts falling apart. So it was just let's say it's a grind to get into escrow because of these two attitudes.
Right.
But then when things come up on inspections in the last 5 or 6 years, you had reports up front or you had,
Right.
everything was known up front. So there was no negotiation. Now buyers are going, I want 50,000 off the price. And sellers are like, I already like have blood on the floor from getting into escrow.
Right.
So they walk. Buyers will walk, or both of them, or it's like a game of chicken. Both are like going, they're not going to walk. They love the house.
Yeah.
I'm not buying this house. They're going to give me some money. And so things are falling apart left and right.
Yeah.
And then do they go back into escrow with it, or once it's gone, it's gone?
Well, then there's a stigma and what happened, and then you have all these reports that you have to show.
But I mean the same buyer going back and going, okay, well, how about this?
Usually when they walk, because it's just like
mostly they're done with it.
they're done. And then what happens? Does seller give up? Do they?
Yeah.
Whatever. It's just not. It's hard to get that bloom back on the.
You got to go
ropes.
back to them and say, hey, I don't earn a commission if both you guys walk. So you guys are going to sit here and work it out.
Yeah. Well, what's happening again is where the seller is like, you work it out, agents, which is very unusual.
Mhm.
But that's happening now too.
Wow. So, in those scenarios, the buyer is going to experience that maybe once, maybe a couple times. And then they say, you know what, I'm beating my head against the wall trying to get what I want. Or, ego got me, I lost the deal twice because of ego. And then the seller, same thing. I lost the deal twice because of ego. I, dug my feet in.
Yeah, that doesn't that happen quite a bit?
Usually-
That
It does.
finally, like the agent who comes in, like you've had success getting listings after they've
Expired. I do
Yeah.
expired. Yeah. Well, I mean, the other thing is with buyers, it's a little bit payback. Like they went through hell for 2 years.
Yeah,
Sure.
Crying, not getting houses,
Yeah.
competing with 10 other people.
Yeah.
They're paying back, and they're like, I'm glad I didn't buy it. Now I'm in control. And
Yeah.
I'm not
Yeah.
even interested in buying a house. I just want to go into escrow so I can.
I know. Yeah, I know exactly.
It's
Yeah,
a good use of my time.
exactly.
Jeez,
Exactly.
that's sadistic.
Yeah.
I don't know why you came up with that. Do you really think that way?
Don't
tell anybody.
It's super secret, okay? Don't tell anyone. It's cone of silence going on right now.
Yeah. That's right. Code of
Like
silence.
Patagon.
That's funny. Let's see. Okay, when we come back from a break, we're going to ask a couple of trivia. I always say trivia questions. Email questions here. Patty's going to answer the question about why are cap rates so low in California, Nam's going to answer the question with real estate prices still high. Of course, this email's a couple weeks old. Can you still make conservative loans? So you have to explain to people, what Pacific Private Money
Sure.
does for a living. Quick mention here also for the Mount View Hotel and Spa in Calistoga. I don't know if you've ever been there, but it's they've got one of the nicest pools.
Really?
It's really cool, and it's right downtown, right on Lincoln Avenue, down the heart of Calistoga. And they have a
Wow.
special. Get this, they get the special midweek special that includes 2 cocoa massages and 1 night in a suite for only $479 plus tax. That's pretty good. 2 massages, and you get to stay there for a night during
And
the
you get to
midweek.
swim.
And you get to swim, exactly. So they also have a mineral mud bath. You ever done a mud bath?
No, I'm not interested.
I can't imagine you doing a mud bath. I've done it before. It's interesting.
Yeah, I know.
But they also have, therapeutic wellness salt bath.
I don't want to imagine you doing that.
No,
No,
exactly. You
exactly.
don't. That's okay. But check them out at the mountviewhotel.com. All right. So let's see here. Second trivia question is, what prominent feature is Hello Kitty missing? You have to think about the cartoon. Now, see, you have a young daughter, so
Yeah, he's got
you
an
can call
edge.
her up and ask the question of that.
Yeah.
So what prominent feature is Hello Kitty missing? You have to be a little kid.
A
or
brain?
all this stuff.
No.
Yeah, brain.
A tooth?
Don't answer it now. Okay. Call 888-912-1190 to answer this question. And if the first 3 callers with the correct answer are going to win the tanning certificate. What prominent feature is Hello Kitty missing? All right. Stay with us. The Best of Investing. I'll be right back. Okay.
Screw loose.
Kitty. I think
Kitty?
a mouth.
That's right.
Oh, isn't that interesting?
Because he's got a daughter.
Hello, Kitty. How
Yeah.
come you haven't responded yet?
Yeah.
I know why. That's a bummer. That's
Oh, God.
Yeah,
Well,
that's tough.
you know-
Especially both. Were you on both sides?
Well, I was representing the listing and then the purchase.
Ah.
And so, both sides would have been fine because it's one deal and I'd have control. Like, I get along with, sometimes, you're negotiating, it's like, is this the agent or is this the client? I
right.
get along with myself really well. So if I'm doing, and I'm a good communicator, so if I'm doing both sides, I know I'm in control. It's going to sell. It's
Yeah.
going to be fine.
Yeah.
But no, this was
Buyer.
representing seller, representing buyer.
Yeah.
Oh my
Yeah.
God, it's been horrible. Anyway, but easy come, easy go, and there's always more, and we keep
Yeah.
moving. But
Well, hopefully again, you just get a different,
yeah, you keep
Yeah.
going.
Yep.
It's a game. You throw them up, they come. You do your best. Always give from
That's
contribution.
it's a good attitude.
Exactly.
Okay. Here, what goes there? Do. Are you ready?
Yes.
Away we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Patty Cohen and Nam Foster. Hey, I switched it up a little bit, huh?
Nice.
Ooh, got you
Confused.
confused. Yeah. Trivia question to answer. What prominent feature is Hello Kitty missing? Nam doesn't want to answer because she's missing a mouth. That's right. Okay. Let's see here. Nam, quick question comes in. Says, with real estate prices still so high in California, can you, meaning your company, still make conservative loans here?
Yeah, conservative. It's all relative because no matter what the price is, higher or low, conservative is going to be, how much is the borrower bringing to the table?
Yeah.
How much?
What's your
equity
loan to value?
Yeah, what's your loan to value? And in our case, regardless of the market, we typically cap at 70%, which means that the borrower needs to bring in 30% down, whether it's actually cash or equity in another property that we can, what we call cross-collateralize. Those opportunities exist in any market. So the answer is yes, we still can make conservative loans, and also we have to look at the value and make sure that the value is stable. Like we were saying in the other segments, right now the market is in transition. So when we're looking at values, are we looking at, we're doing our own analysis. We're not just taking the borrower's word for it, or the realtors. We're doing an analysis. We look at trends and we see, in the duration or the term of the loan that they have with us, do we feel prices will drop or grow or stay the same? And if we're unsure, we may lower the max LTV from 70 to 65 and say, you know what, we're not comfortable at 70% because we're not sure where the market's going, so you need to come in with 35% down.
You know what I found over the years, believe it or not, a lot of people don't understand what cross collateral is.
You're right, and it's something that we actually explain a lot of times to mortgage brokers too, loan officers, and realtors, and the actual borrowers, and essentially
pretty simple. We're taking two pieces of collateral. That's all.
Collateral being real estate in this case, right? The collateral in another property or equity, and using that as security for the property that they want to buy.
So I understand it, but like for a viewer, so a viewer has, say, two pieces of property.
Yes.
And they want to buy one, but you're going to look for the other one. They owe, like, it's worth $2 million and they owe $200,000.
Right.
There's a lot of money there.
Yep.
So you can actually put a lien, a loan on their house that has to do with the place that they're buying.
Yeah, exactly. So, it's a really interesting stat now that you mentioned it. 30,000 homeowners in Marin County, San Francisco, and San Mateo County who have been in their homes for over 15 years and have more than 70% equity. That's a huge number of people. You could almost equate those to boomers, right? A lot of baby boomers who've been in their homes for a long time. They have a ton of equity in their home, and that yet they want to make a purchase on another. And the example you just gave is perfect. We can pull or use the equity they have in their existing home as collateral. And say, this is security for the loan that we're going to make to you on the home that you're buying, which we call the target property. And that's what cross collateralization is. It's a way for you to buy a home before you have to sell. And then when you do sell, you're paying us off as private money lenders. The rates are a little higher, but it's gives you the opportunity to purchase before selling, which a conventional bank won't do. They won't give you that loan. So we provide the loan, they sell their departing residence, the one that they currently live in, they pay us down or pay us off, they refinance out of our loan, and then they're in their new home. So it's a great product, and it's a great opportunity for people to take advantage of, because there's 30,000 people who, a high percentage of them will probably be downsizing or moving.
And the fact that you charge a higher interest rate, that's not really the big deal, because people are going to be paying the loan off fairly quickly.
Right. And, so when we say high, we're talking about 9.5, but the average duration of our loan is about 5 or 6 months. So you're not paying, it was $100,000
20
loan,
years or something.
Yeah, you're not paying 20 years. You're effectively paying like somewhere in the 4 or 5%, because you're only holding the loan for about 4 or 5, 6 months. So.
Well, I also understand, even if someone holds it longer, why they have to, because a lot of people are house poor. And not only
cash poor,
cash poor, excuse me. Yeah, so back to $2 million house, they owe $200,000, but they can't go to a regular lender because they don't have the income.
Right, exactly, because that stat, that 15 plus years in the house, boomers, many of them are on fixed incomes.
Yeah.
So this is an opportunity for them to purchase before selling, and then they can get a conventional loan later.
It's a good service you provide.
Yeah.
How do people get a hold of you?
They can call us at 415-883-2150, or go visit us online at www.pacificprivatemoney.com.
pacificprivatemoney.com. All right. Thank you very much, Nam. Patty, question comes in. Why are cap rates so low in California?
Yeah, they really are low. And actually, I can speak myself personally. I'm looking at investing right now. And for example, like a normal cap rate is 4%. That's really low.
Well, I remember in Sausalito, someone was saying that there's something sold for a 1.7.
So how is cap rate calculated for people who are listening? How do you calculate a cap rate and say, okay, that's good or not good?
Yeah, well, it's based on, purchase price and net operating income. So a lot of people just kind of blind eye, like, oh, well, I'm buying something for this and I'm getting all this rent. Well, they forget to chunk down taxes, gardener, HOA dues, utilities or whatever. So it's net operating income when all of those expenses are taken away. And it's regardless of whether you have a loan on the property. So You buy something for $1 million and your net operating income is, $40,000 a year.
Right.
That's a 40% cap rate.
So is it because the prices have gone up so much that the cap rate's actually
Well, yes,
so
because
low? Because the expenses are more or less staying the same over the period, right? And rents may be going up a bit, but it's just the value of the property that people are buying.
yeah,
at.
because net, we've got a really, like, I'm looking personally myself in Reno where 6% is a cap rate.
Mm.
So Bay Area, we've got one of the net most desirable places to live.
Right.
In places that are like,
Arkansas.
a slum.
Yeah.
Or,
Well, I think part of it
low
is
rent district.
investors are saying, what rate of return am I going to get on my money?
Right.
So it's not just the fact of a piece of
what's the
property went up.
competition?
Yeah, and so that's why, maybe property gets bid up. Tell you what, we're going to go to our third commercial break.
Wow.
Trivia question. I know it goes fast.
Yeah.
When we come back, now I'm going to ask you for a deal owed a week.
Sure.
Yeah.
What historical event is central to the novel A Tale of Two Cities? What historical event is central to the novel A Tale of Two Cities? Remember, what did it say? Is it the best of times? It was the worst of
Yeah.
times, right? Call 888-912-1190. The first three callers with the correct answer are going to win that tanning certificate. Stay with us. You're listening to The Best of Investing. We're going to be right back. Don't touch that dial.
That could be really confusing, my events, but I'm thinking about Venice, that fire in Venice? No, that's something else.
I don't know.
You know this not?
History? No.
No, I don't know.
Mark doesn't like history, so it's good that he's not
Yeah.
here.
Oh,
Yeah.
Kitty one again. Is Hello Kitty on backpacks or is it on purses? Both.
Yeah. And how about the real trivia question? Is the green Teletubby gay or not? Like, are
Is
you
the what?
kidding me? The Teletubbies we're talking
Oh,
about. No, I'm kidding.
yeah.
Is that Teletubby gay? No, the purple one. I'm
They
like,
all are.
what? Exactly. Like, what? It's not human.
Yeah, that's right.
There's
It's,
only one gender with Teletubbies.
And then
Yeah.
every like 50 years, there's a thing going on. Like Procter and Gamble, like, is it satanic because they have a picture of the moon and blah blah. And it's like,
Really?
That's,
I haven't heard that one.
You haven't heard that one?
Yeah,
It's
never
every so
is.
often you hear that.
Yeah.
All right, next segment B 840.
840 or 848?
848. You correct. I stand corrected. I can't see it. It's so small.
I wrote it down and underlined it.
Yes, you did, and you did it correctly. That was 8 seconds to make a difference.
I know.
Here we go. Welcome back to The Best of Investing. One more time, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Mark, who's not here, and Nam Phan,
In spirit.
and he's here in spirit. Mark Hanf is off today, but Nam Phan from Pacific Private Money is here, and so is Patty Cohen of Compass Realty. Third trivia question was, what historical event is central to the novel A Tale of Two Cities? Think of storming the Bastille,
Oh.
the French Revolution.
Ah.
Oh.
Yeah. Remember the best of times, the worst of times. Big thick book. Nobody
They
ever
just
reads.
celebrated Bastille Day.
Yes, they
2 days
did.
ago.
Yeah,
Last week.
you're right. It's July 14th, I think it is.
It is.
Yeah, they storming the Bastille. You know how many prisoners were there? 7.
7?
That's it.
Are you kidding?
It's sort of like you've heard of the Boston Massacre.
Yeah.
5 people died.
Wow.
Yeah.
They must have been
It was a
important
massacre.
7.
Well, yeah, or in the Boston Massacre, the population was only 12, so 5. No, I'm just kidding.
Wow.
Okay, so Nam, share a deal of the week because people, they hear your comments about, what you do about people buying a house before selling and all this kind of stuff, 9% interest and all that. Give us a specific example.
So an example could be one we're actually looking at this week that just came in. A couple want to buy acreage in the Central Valley.
Okay.
So if they came to us and said, we'd like to buy acreage in the Central Valley of agriculture land and put 2 homes on it, or there's 2 homes on it that we want to buy, generally that's a loan we probably wouldn't necessarily do, because part of the evaluation for us is if we ever had to take it back, knock on wood, that doesn't happen frequently, but if we did, could we sell it? Because we've got to recoup the capital and pay our investors back. So that alone, generally, if somebody just came to us, we'd say no. But in this case, they're a couple that own rental property in the South Bay, and they have 2 homes, one that they live in and one that they rent, both in the South Bay. And they have plenty of equity in each one. And this could be a boomer scenario where they actually have, paid off a large chunk of both of their properties. I think the property they live in, they owe 500 against 1.5, and the other one that they rent is they owe 400 against 1.2. So a lot of equity. That's a loan that we'll consider now, because we have collateral in desirable areas at really conservative loan to value.
What's the request? How much do they need for the?
They need $1 million.
Okay.
So, and that's probably, I think that's pretty close to asking price for this property in the Central Valley. So, we've got to run the numbers. I think the combined loan to value is somewhere in that. Don't have a calculator in front of me, and I'm not good at math, but I think it's somewhere in the 60s or something like that. So that's a loan we look at, because the collateral in this case is in a desirable area.
And they're probably not going to let those properties go.
Right.
So they'll sell them before they get in trouble.
Right. And so in that case, again, could they go to a bank? Probably not. They would come to us, and what will happen is they already have one of their homes on the market. I think it's a rental property. They're going to be able to pay us down or pay us off pretty quickly. So that's just something that comes across their desk all the time, where somebody wants to leverage the equity that they have in their properties. It's smart buyer.
Here's the other thing. Excuse me. Is sometimes if the house is on the market, bank's not going to want to waste time in putting a loan against it.
Yeah, you're going to pay us off.
Yeah,
really fast.
And there's the rub, so to speak, is because generally the points that a bank charges is either zero or not enough.
Right.
So it doesn't make worthwhile for them to do a loan that'll be out there for 2 months or something.
Right. Banks rely on borrowers being in the property long enough for them to recoup their investment, and that's why they charge rates, in the 3s or 4s. They're banking on that borrower paying over a period of time. For us, we're charging more because number one, we have the flexibility to transact much faster, but there's an opportunity cost for that. And we are not holding the funds for very long. We're not holding the asset for very long. So people may balk at the rate, but then again, like we were saying earlier, it's a lot of times the bridge loans in particular are interest only, and there's no prepayment penalty. So we've gotten refinance out of our loan within 2 weeks, once. So yeah, that's a pretty common one. I think that's the only other deal of the week I've got for you up my sleeve this week.
But you also have, so let's say the investor or listeners are thinking, oh, that sounds pretty conservative. It's not risk-free, but it's conservative. And I'd like to invest with your company.
So they can invest in 2 ways. The primary way is investing in our fund, which is what's called a mortgage pool fund or mortgage debt fund. It's essentially a portfolio of loans that we make to these borrowers. And in this case, we have about 80 properties in the fund, about 50 million in assets under management. We have about 200 investors, and where we're charging borrowers, in the 9s, investors earn around 7.5%. So, every month we add new loans to the fund, and we have loans that pay off, but that capital essentially is always working for the investors. The other way to invest is on an individual trustee basis, where you're investing in a single property, single loan, and that may pay a little bit higher, where you may be earning 8.5 versus 7.5 if you're in the fund, but you're invested in one property, and also you're the lender in that case. So if something happens, borrower doesn't pay, you are responsible for going through the process of getting that property back.
And you don't get your interest while it's accruing. And if you do get paid off, then you got to sit around with your money sitting at 1%, let's say in the bank, waiting for another deal to come up.
Yeah.
So there's pros and cons to both.
Yeah, and if you get paid off quickly, then your capital's idle until you find the next opportunity. And
so even though 8.5 is better than 7.5, but if 8.5 sits around at a 1% bank account for a while, you're better off in the 7.5%.
Exactly. Let us do the work and let you focus on other areas of your life. So if you're interested in investing in the fund, give us a call at 415-883-2150. Again, or go to our website, www.pacificprivatemoney.com.
And Patty, you'd answered the email, but we forgot to give out your information.
Oh, yeah. So I'm Patty Cohn, C-O-H-N, with Compass Real Estate. And my phone number is 415-722-4842. And my website is marinagent.com.
You've been in the top percentage for how many years now?
Honestly, I've been doing this 30 years, and after the second year in my business, I was
Top.
there, and I just don't stop.
Yeah.
I mean, there are people that do better than me, but I don't think there's anyone out there, at least in the county I work in, that have been as consistently every single year for as long as I have been
Yeah.
just doing it.
Amazing. You are a wealth of knowledge.
I'm
So-
trying.
So you wrote an article that you published recently, right? In your newsletter, or excuse me, your newsletter came out just last week.
Yeah, and that's all the rich data of comparing like the entire Bay Area and Marin, and all of the. I'm happy to send it to anybody. It's really good data on what's really going on in the market.
Yeah.
And so if people want that information, how would they?
You could text me, or call me, or email me, and so 415-722-4842, or Patty PATTI.Cohn COHN @compass.com.
And Compass is going on quite a tear, aren't they?
Wow, really close to being the dominant broker in the United States.
Amazing.
That's
Yeah.
impressive.
I mean, what happens when Amazon gets into the mix? Because they're
It's
coming
changing.
in. Yeah.
Yeah, it's
quite
a
a bit.
changing market.
All right, we're gonna go to our next commercial break, and no trivia question. When we come back, we're gonna have some closing comments, so don't touch that dial. The best of investing. We'll be right back.
God, so nice and easy. I love this. I was I've been thinking about, like, you're always open to who else should we have on the show, and I'm
Yeah,
always
please.
thinking about it, but I'm kind of like,
It's gonna help your business. You know?
yeah, or I will just help them. I
Or help
don't care,
But I mean,
But well, when we had Kathleen on the show
Yeah.
that time, I thought it was such a stretch. So the other thing
what is it?
the other thing I'm doing is sponsoring African girls through college.
Oh,
that's so
And
cool.
I honestly am. And the beautiful thing about it is that I can really connect with this girl. Like, she's the one I am sponsoring. It's not into a pool.
Yeah.
And I communicate with her. I see her grades. So we could have the person that started that on. I mean,
That'd
so
be
it's
cool.
somebody in Fairfax. And she was visiting Africa, and she saw this woman walking down the street, and she was big African woman. She was carrying this model of something, and she was going town to town educating people on whatever. I'll tell you about that later. But she was educating people. So this person I know in Marin was with her friend, and they're visiting Africa, and they're like, heard all about it, said, how can we help you? And she said, we could, she goes, well, if I had a car, I wouldn't have to walk, back and forth. And they didn't have money. They came home to Fairfax, just got $2,000, gave her a car. Then they opened up the Tasahari School for Girls, which takes you through high school. And now then she opened up a fund where you can, it's just $3,500 a year. You can send a girl through college. And then she goes back into her village, because this is what they're taking them out of. They're taking them out of 9, 10, and 11-year-old girls. God, this is a little intense. Maybe you don't want it on the radio, but it's real life. Taking them out of FMG, like being basically female genital mutilation.
Sure.
And then the next day, they are married off to some 40-year-old. And I asked, is it ever like love? She looked at me like, no. She goes, no, they're the third or fourth wife. They're a slave.
Oh my gosh.
That's how it works. So if you just get them through high school, it's not really enough. So now you get them through college. They go back into the village. The father makes all these decisions, and it's illegal, but it's what happens. And they kind of make up that if a woman doesn't have this, nobody would want her. She'll never get through in life. So now the girl comes back, and the parents kind of look to them for, information, and like, she's now educated. You ask her questions, and then the father goes, you know what? I'm not going to do that to my younger daughters. I'm going to have them go through this process too. And the whole community changes, and it's $3,500 a year for a girl. And
Wow.
and I mean,
What school do they go to?
they go, I don't even know. I mean, I could tell you, I could look it up. I see her grades. I can communicate with her. I think it's cool because people can actually,
Wow.
Because I know, I've supported some kids in Africa through, Children International is one,
Yeah.
and World Vision another. And
well, this is out of
Yeah.
Kenya, and it's the Tasahari camp. And like, some of the girls there is just like, the girls don't know that this is going to happen to them. They're 9, 11, 13.
yeah,
And now there's a movie on Netflix if you want to see it. And in the movie, you'll hear like girls say, you know what? I had no idea. This boy that I know told me this is going to happen to you tomorrow. He put me on his bicycle rims and just drove me to the this shelter
Mhm.
for girls where you get an education and I'm so glad it happened.
Sheesh.
That's how it happens, because you can't run away, like,
Yeah.
you know, and the mothers do it. It's the culture, because they basically, this is how whacked out this patriarchal society is. It says if the woman has pleasure, they're going to become a prostitute. That's like how,
So
yeah,
like,
it's so twisted,
medieval.
but they're bought into it, and that's in 2019. So
That's why
anyway,
we need to be the police for the world and just demand. It's like going to Guatemala instead of having all the people come to the
Yeah.
border. Let's just go there and just invent democracy there.
Yeah.
Hey, sorry, you guys don't know how to run your country. We're going to run it for you.
yeah, exactly. So the person that started that whole thing could just tell her little story. This is what she's doing, and you can, you know, it's a tax write-off, and you can invest it for $3,500. You have a girl. You can like send a girl and change the culture.
And that 3,500 gets her through the entire 4 years of
Well,
college.
no,
or how many?
it's per year, but it's food, shelter, and tuition. $3,500 a year.
But they go to school in Africa,
Yeah.
in Kenya.
Yeah.
That seems kind of
Seems kinda high.
expensive
Seems
in
kind of high.
Kenya.
It does.
I mean, because you think that Africa is fairly inexpensive.
It does.
Yeah.
And there's no administration costs. I mean, they're running this home,
Yeah.
you know, and they're running this school. So, you know,
Yeah.
but
Wow.
it just
This
is
is
exciting
nuts.
to me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. Eva, there's one organization Eva likes called Orphan Relief. They're having an event that's again helping along the same lines, but not maybe as intense as that. But the kids are orphans now.
Well, it's kind of cool to have somebody on that is started it. Look at, here she is. That's Nellie. That's my
Aw.
girl. Is she adorable?
Yeah.
Which country? Yeah.
Kenya.
Kenya. That's
Yeah.
great.
So I mean, it's just like Kathleen. She started it. She's Bay Area.
Yeah.
Or this is somebody in Fairfax in the Bay Area, and she started this. I mean, I'm just always.
Well, Eva was involved with the African Children's Choir. These girls come from, gosh, I'm trying to remember now if it's like Rwanda.
Wow.
And we had a couple of them stay with us. And
Sure.
these girls sing beautifully. And then
Yeah.
they had this big surprise because they took them to Disney. There was like a whole choir, and they raised enough money. They sent the kids before they had to go back to Rwanda or whatever it was. They got to go to Disneyland, and it was like,
God, it's a dream.
Wow.
yeah, it's like a whole complete fantasy.
Yeah. Beautiful.
So I think you got to sing down there. Yeah. All right, what are we going to cover in the last
Oh yeah, I
segment?
forgot we had that segment.
One more 5-minute segment,
Yeah,
or
let's see.
4-minute segment
All right.
actually. Did you have an article?
I have an article on foreign purchases of American homes plunge 36%.
Oh, well,
That's good. That's
Okay.
interesting. Yeah, I'm not seeing it. I can mention that. I'm not seeing foreign buyers. Just
Yeah.
hit me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. Welcome back to the Best of Investing. Last time for today, I'm Edward Brown, your host, along with Nam Phan and Patty Cohen. No trivia question, but Nam, you have an interesting article.
Yeah, during the break, we were just chatting about how Patty was mentioning she hasn't seen too many foreign buyers. And I have an article that I just saw from Wednesday where it says foreign purchases of American homes plunged 36%, led by Chinese buyers fleeing the market.
Mm-hmm.
Did they say why they were fleeing?
Yeah, they said it was, well, first, so it's down 36% year over year, and this is from April 2018 to March 2019, and they said it's a confluence of many factors. Slower economic growth abroad, so China's had one of their first lowest in 27 years or something like that, economic growth. Tighter capital controls within their own country, so they're putting up more obstacles for foreign investment, and then a stronger U.S. dollar, and low inventory of homes for sale in the U.S.
I wonder if that's helping to create this, not a seller's market at this point.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, and then so let's see, purchasing 13.4 billion worth of residential real estate was purchased by Chinese buyers for this, and that's the 7th consecutive year that China led, U.S. purchases by foreign countries or foreign citizens, but it was still 56% down from the prior 12 months. So that's huge. That's over 27 billion was spent last year in U.S. home purchases. Economic growth slowed to 6.3% in 2019 compared to 6.9% in 2017. And so, China's experienced kind of a slowdown. And because of that, they're pulling back on purchases in the U.S. But I remember the days when there were so many properties, and this was the case in Canada too, where Vancouver, had all of these foreign investments, China buying up homes, and they said you could tell which homes were owned from foreign citizens because the lawns were brown, and they were just using it.
Right.
They were vacant, and they're just using it as parking their money.
Yeah.
And safe.
Interesting.
And that's what was happening down in Atherton, and you know, parking big money, like 24 million in a
Mhm.
home.
Yeah.
That is not an investment. You're not.
Right.
They just left it there,
Well,
and it
they wanted to
changed.
get the money out of the country.
Yes, that's right.
Yeah.
And it really changed the complexion of neighborhoods.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you're in a high-end neighborhood, and there's 6 homes on the block, and in Atherton, and they're all average of like 18 million, and 2 of them are just, or 3 of them are just sitting there. So, but I can tell you, I have not seen a lot of foreign buyers in the last year or so at all.
You're still seeing a lot of your buyers coming from San Francisco?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I'm seeing more and more like inter-county moves, like just move up, move down for whatever reason, or leaving the state. People are leaving the
Yeah,
state. They're
yeah.
going to Reno. They're going wherever.
Who wants to
Yeah.
go to Reno though?
I agree.
I mean-
I know.
And
Well,
to you Reno listeners there, we love it.
Love Reno.
But I mean, it's it's too hot in the summer. It's too cold in the winter.
Yeah. Well, it's also back to
No
it's not Vegas.
Taxes.
No tax, no income taxes.
Right.
And it's also they're going because it's also a good investment.
Mm-hmm.
Reno's a good investment.
It's growing.
Yeah.
It's growing a lot, right?
Yeah.
I mean, Tesla's there.
Yeah.
The
And
Gigafactory.
so we were talking earlier before, Sacramento's growing quite a bit too.
Sacramento's low. I mean, the prices are low. There's a long way to go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I was looking at this one deal in Murrieta, which is
Where's that?
that's
Up there,
down
Sacramento?
Rancho,
That's
somewhere like Rancho
near-
Mirage,
yeah,
in
like
Palm
El
Springs,
Sonora area.
yeah. And I mean, these houses, some of them are beautiful, and they're going for like $160 a foot. So you're getting this, 4,500 square foot house for $700,000.
Wow.
Yes. All right.
I mean,
well,
I've got a gorgeous home down there, and it's a rental, and it's in an over 55 community. It's beautiful, and it's only worth like 400.
isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks again for joining us on the Best of Investing. Thoughts for today. When you open a bag of cotton balls, is the one on top supposed to be thrown away?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I always throw it away.
Right? Just like aspirin, right?
Huh.
And when sign makers go on strike, is anything written on their signs? Or they went on strike, so they're not even writing anything on their sign. Funny, huh?
Funny.
All right. Tune in next week to the Best of Investing. We're going to be giving away more free prizes for answering trivia questions. Thanks for listening. On behalf of our team, I'm Edward Brown. We're wishing you the best of investing. So long.
Oh, funny. I'm very gullible. I'm
Good.
very literal. I'm
I-
always like, what?
I take people literally.
I do too.
I don't take myself literally, but
Yeah.
I throw the whole cotton ball away because I'm looking for what's underneath all the cotton.
In a bag of cotton balls, you do
Yeah.
that?
Just like you keep picking them out, and like somewhere is the product.
What are you looking for then?
Exactly. This is not Cracker Jacks. He wants the prize.
Yeah.
If it's cotton balls, you're going to just keep cotton balls.
But I don't know which one's the lid one,
That's right.
and then which
exactly.
one's the actual product.
So I got another eight.
No.
I got 8 more minutes on this thing. I
Oh,
have to go
dear.
6 minutes.
Oh, you recorded.
Come on, do a song dance for me.
I know. Dun, 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 dun.
No,
I'm taking off.
that's okay.
I'm going to go drown my sorrows and
Open a can of what you know what.
yeah, exactly. See you guys.
All right,
Bye.
bye. Thanks, bye. Oh, yeah, I couldn't believe the pictures on this Murrieta deal. Both the selling and purchase. It's beautiful. Yeah, we don't have an event coming up for a while, do we?
No.
No,
Free with Steve in
Oh yeah, we should have mentioned that. Oh, it's not until.
October.
Oh yeah. That's ways away. All right. Well, this in here. And let's see here. We go this way. We go this way. And we go this. Come on. There we go. This. COI promotional. Not in June, July 27, right? Is the promotional one. That one. July 20. Too confusing. Okay. How fast this thing is. 4, 7, 8, 10. See? 15%. This one goes fast.
That's just a rip off.
Like this. 57%.
You know, it's funny. You sent me that email forwarded from Calder Malin, I think.
Oh, yeah.
And Matt got that email. Same email. I got that.
Okay, I wasn't sure.
But we talked to these guys before.
Oh, really?
Yeah. So maybe we will try and schedule a call with them next week.
I mean, it was, you know.
Yeah. And also the webinar next Tuesday.
Oh, yeah.
I may reschedule it because right now we only have 5 people signed up for it.
Oh.
It's and usually we'll have like 50% show up. So I don't know.
Gotcha. Okay,
just for 2
let me
people.
know ahead. Yeah,
Yeah.
As much in advance as
Because you don't really need to go to it. It's just a webinar we do to mortgage brokers.
Okay.
So I mean, I can record it and you can listen to it, but you don't have to like show up and. I mean,
Okay.
we've got other things going on.
Okay.
But I'll let you know either way whether or not we do it. Oh yeah. Let's see.
Like this. Okay. Promotional. July. And then. Let's see. This one like that. I have another potential intern who's more interested in the sports show.
From the golf tournament, on my calendar in the morning. So, Mr. Brown.
3 more minutes to go. Sorry, people. We got 3 more minutes to go, or else CM, they don't like it. They want 56 minutes. So you get to look at Mom doing some texting.
Actually, emailing everyone.
Emailing, excuse me. Yeah.
So who's on next week, Mr. Brown?
Next week, Rob Spinoza on the 23rd, which is Tuesday, here, because the 25th we have that event in San Francisco, right?
Wait, did we sign up for that? What's the event on the 25th?
On the 25th,
Is it that FOA thing?
I think that's what it is. Let's see here. It is family office event at the Hyatt.
Okay. Yeah, let me see.
Mm-hmm.
Are you out of here right away after this? I gotta, if you don't mind, I was gonna run and change after use your bathroom. and change into my bike stuff. Are you taking off as soon as
You
you're
ride
done
your-
with this?
You can ride your bike here.
No, but I'm gonna go for a bike ride. I just have it in my car, but I was gonna change
Oh.
in my bike clothes.
Okay.
So I was gonna use that bathroom, but I have to return the key.
Oh, okay. Can you do that now? Because I'm just gonna finish up here.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
You're cool. All right.
I'm cool.
Let me do that. Allow it to be done in 2 minutes. All right.
Okay. All right, just 25 more seconds. And that's it. We're out.